Let's do this quick thought experiment. Think back maybe 5 years. You're at some party, some get together, and you mentioned you're off the booze, right? And it was almost like you just said you collect, I don't know, stamps of sad clowns or something, that vibe. Cue the awkward silence, the tilted heads. Maybe someone even tries to slide a beer into your hand, hoping you won't notice. A bit weird. Okay, now fast forward today. You order a fancy mocktail, someone gives you a genuine fist bump. It's fine. It's normal. I'm not drinking. Suddenly it's kind of, well, it's almost trendy, which definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, you've been absolutely bombarded with ads forever showing alcohol equals fun, right? Connection, all that stuff. So what's a plot twist here? How do we get from awkward silence to fist bumps? Well, today we're going to take a look into how social media has sort of become this unexpected, massive force in changing how we think about alcohol. Forget those glossy magazine ads or the big beer commercials during the game. We're talking about something way more pervasive, stuff popping up in our feeds every single day. And it's subtly, maybe not so subtly, shifting our perspectives. So the real question we're digging into is, how is social media helping a whole generation, and maybe even you, rethink their relationship with alcohol? And why does this actually matter? Okay, so for years, decades really, the message was hammered home, right? Alcohol equals good times, fitting in, being the life of the party. Think about those classic beer ads, all smiles, camaraderie, high fives. It created this really ingrained link, almost automatic, between drinking and, positive social experiences. But what's fascinating now is this huge shift happening online. It's like a groundswell. You've got thousands of people jumping on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, whatever platform. And they're openly talking about living alcohol free or just drinking less. And crucially, they're not whispering about it like it's some shameful secret. No way. They're upfront, they're confident, and honestly, they're making it look pretty appealing. It's definitely not some fringe thing anymore. It's right there out in the open. It's sparking conversations, getting comments going. And I think most importantly, it's making people pause. It's like, maybe Friday night doesn't have to involve alcohol. Maybe there's another way. And the real engine driving this, it's real people sharing their actual messy, real lives. Forget the polished perfection of those old ads. That's not what's grabbing us. What's cutting through the noise now is the raw honesty. People online talking about the stuff that maybe used to be kept quiet. The anxiety of the morning after having a few too many, that terrible night's sleep where you feel like you wrestled a badger, as they say, or just that general feeling of being sort of blah, run down. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. They're also showing the other side. What happens when they cut back or quit? And we're seeing these super relatable journeys. Mental clarity is starting to kick in. Friendships may be becoming deeper, more meaningful because you're more present. Skin looking brighter. I mean, who's going to argue with that? And this unexpected surge of energy, suddenly there's time for hobbies, passions, things that got pushed aside. And when you see someone who seems just like you, genuinely thriving after making this change, it doesn't feel like some impossible, unattainable health guru thing. It feels doable, achievable, maybe even, dare I say it, empowering. It taps into that whole idea of social proof, doesn't it? Seeing others manage it successfully makes us think, hey, maybe I could do that too. Okay, another huge piece of this puzzle is how the very definition of fun seems to be shifting. Remember when Friday night basically just meant finding the best happy hour deal? That was the goal. Well, now there's this massive wave, this huge interest in all things wellness. I mean, people are obsessing over their sleep scores on their fitness trackers. They're geeking out about gut health and microbiomes, spending time and money, perfecting skincare routines, even trying to figure out how to regulate their nervous systems. It's a whole thing. And let's be honest, alcohol doesn't exactly slot neatly into any of those priorities, does it? Kind of works against them. So what are people doing instead of, hitting the bar? You see these trends blowing up, like hot girl walks, which, let's be clear, are for absolutely everyone, not just hot girls, it's just walking. And these elaborate, calming nighttime routines, they're suddenly center stage on social media. It's a definite shift from chasing that temporary buzz to focusing on actually feeling good long term, both inside and out. And social media is basically giving us a front row seat to watch this evolution of what a good time can look like. It seems less about the perfect Instagram photo op and more about genuine well-being. Now, it's not all just, perfectly filtered photos of attractive people drinking green juice at alcohol-free brunches. What's also incredibly powerful here, I think, is the vulnerability that people are sharing. People aren't just posting yeah, 100 days sober, and that's it, end the story, perfect journey. No, they're being really honest about the cravings that can just pop up out of nowhere. They talk about those awkward social situations where everyone else is on their third drink and you're sipping sparkling water, or just the mental fatigue, the decision fatigue of constantly having to explain why you're not drinking. And this honesty, right? This willingness to show the messy bits, the struggles, that's what builds trust. It creates this online space, this community where other people feel safe enough to think, yeah, you know what? I've felt that too. I get that. We know social connection is just crucial when you're trying to make any kind of big change in your life. And these online communities are making support so much more accessible than it ever was before. You're not just alone scrolling through your phone, there's potentially a whole digital village out there navigating similar stuff. And think about how fast the message can land these days. The age of TikTok and Instagram reels, blazing fast in just, 15 seconds? Someone can share a really striking before and after picture or video, or a simple mindset shift that just clicks and suddenly makes sense. Or maybe an unexpected benefit they found since cutting back on alcohol. These aren't long, preachy health lectures nobody wants to sit through. They're quick hits, little snippets of insight that can genuinely make you stop scrolling and think for a second. These bite-sized pieces of content, they act like tiny little nudges throughout your day. And honestly, they can be way more effective sometimes than someone wagging their finger telling you what you should do. Just that repeated exposure, seeing different people, different stories, different perspectives, it gradually starts to reshape what feels normal, what feels possible. It's like your brain is getting this constant low-level stream of, hey, there's another way to do this, and actually it looks pretty good. That feels like a really big shift from the old push marketing of traditional ads, doesn't it? It's more of a subtle pull from relatable user-generated stories. And maybe, just maybe, the most significant change of all is how not drinking itself is being reframed. The language around it, it's moving away from being seen as this like restrictive punishment, this thing you can't do, deprivation. Instead, it's being flipped into something empowering. The framing becomes, I don't need alcohol to have a good time, or maybe I don't want to feel that way tomorrow morning anymore. The pull focus shifts to what you gain, not what you're supposedly losing. Better mornings without that groggy, fuzzy head, yes please. More energy to actually enjoy your weekends, your evenings. Absolutely. Sharper thinking, calmer emotions. And finding these really supportive communities online cheering you on. Just a completely different, much more positive perspective. Now look, while social media is amazing for raising awareness, sparking that initial curiosity, we know that real, lasting change happens in our daily habits. It's about what we do offline, right? In the nitty-gritty of our actual lives. Speaking of feeling good from the inside out, regardless of your relationship with alcohol, making sure your body's giving the right fuel is pretty key, foundational, really. Think about nutrients like vitamin B1 and B12. They're so important for energy levels, for mental focus. And honestly, a lot of us could probably use a bit more support there, whether we're cutting back on drinks or not. It's just about overall well-being. There are options out there. My company, Cloud9, for instance, we developed our Daily Restore product specifically to help replenish those key nutrients. It can be a really helpful piece of the puzzle if you're focused on feeling your best, especially when making lifestyle tweaks. Just something to potentially explore if you're looking for that extra edge. Okay, so let's kind of wrap this chat up. What we're really seeing here is this significant shift, a pretty profound one, in how we talk about and think about alcohol. And social media, yeah, it's undeniably a major driving force behind that. We seem to be moving away from this often unrealistic, always glamorous portrayal of drinking that we saw for so long. There was a much more honest, more nuanced conversation about well-being, about connection, and about what truly makes us feel good, genuinely good. Social media, for all its noise and chaos, is actually creating this kind of incredible space, a space for maybe more genuine connection, for prioritizing mental clarity, and for exploring healthier, perhaps more fulfilling ways to enjoy life, ways that don't necessarily come with a hangover attached the next day. So here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on. If you've ever quietly, maybe just to yourself, wondered if dialing back the alcohol could actually lead to more of what you truly want, more energy, more focus, more presence, more genuine connection, then maybe this cultural shifts you're seeing reflected online isn't just some fleeting internet trend. Maybe it's the nudge, the permission slip you didn't know you needed to start exploring that question for yourself in your own life. Something to think about. Catch you next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.